How we doing, everybody? And welcome into Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. We're coming back usually on Tuesdays. We're back on Wednesday. Got bit by a cat, had rabies shot. It was a heck of a week so far for me. So we're back a little bit late this week. Trying to be nice to a cat. I hate cats. Tried to be nice one time, and here we go. Here we go. Rabies shots. Rabies shots suck. I don't know if anybody's ever had a rabies shot before out there in the comments or anything like that, but rabies shots suck. I didn't think that it'd be that bad, but they give it where you get bit. So tip of the finger there with 10 different shots there. So that was rough. That was rough. But hey, we're through it. We're through it. I'm ready to talk sports. I'm sick of the rabies shots. I got another one tomorrow, but I'm sick of the shots, right? I want to talk sports right now. I got my main guys with me tonight. I got my co-host Aaron here from Brutally Honest Sports, and I got Kyle here from Chomping on the Bit podcast. He can't wait to talk about some NBA today. So we had to get him on here to talk some NBA. So fellas, how we doing tonight?
I'm good. Been on here. It's been a while since I've been on here, but had fun last time. I was like, I know I told you, Trajan, that I was gonna make sure I had to come back on at some point. Hopefully, it's a little bit more regular than it has been, but I'm ready to talk with you guys for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing good. I mean, Kyle and I especially probably got a little bit of a gut punch. Judge just hit a home run, so that
Oh boy,
that's not
he's
good.
hot, fellas.
Um,
He's hot. Watch out.
Still pick
Oh
the Dodgers in
god.
6, so it's shaping up for this might be another L for the Dodgers, but fly back to LA and get Game 6 under their belt and taken care of. But other than that, doing well. Just whenever the Yankees do something good temporarily, I'm not in a good place. So.
I couldn't believe that stat when they said that teams that started down 3-0 have never forced a game 6 in the World Series. I could not believe that
Yeah.
stat. I figured at least one team would have gone 6. But
hmm
apparently the Yankees could be the first one if they figure it out tonight. I really think they will. I'll be honest with you. I think the Yankees will take game 5 here and they will force
Oof.
game 6 in LA, and then the
Oof.
Dodgers will win game 6 and it'll be done. Like I got that feeling the Yankees will finally take care of their home business, right? They should have done it in game 3, but will take
hmm
care of their home business and they'll force it to go back to LA. And then I think it'll be over with from there. I just don't see it. What do you guys think? What do you guys like? How are you feeling about the Dodgers in this one? Do you think that they clean house here, win the World Series in New York, or do you think that they move this thing back to LA? They lose this one, go back to LA and win it.
Uh, I mean, look, with that scenario, I'm kind of okay with it because my whole thing is I want Yankees fans to feel like they have a shot at this one, and then I want it ripped away from them. So if they win tonight, you know how obnoxious Yankees fans are going to be until we get to Game 5.
It,
Like they're going to sit there and act like, oh, the Red Sox did it. Why can't we? That Red Sox team at heart. This Yankees team doesn't. You never saw David Ortiz go through a slump like Aaron Judge. So he hits a home run. Big whoop. What's his postseason batting average? Like 125 now? Ah, come
good
on, man.
day. Yeah, it's
Look, I
back-to-back
mean to
shots. Now Chisholm hit one, so 3-0.
Aaron, you're kind of
Chisholm hit
killing my
one
night.
now too. Oh
You're
boy,
kind of killing
Flaherty is
my
getting
night, Aaron.
rocked.
Yeah, Flaherty looks like he wants to die, which he probably does right now. I think with Cole on the mound, that's a massive. Like he's probably the best pitcher in baseball. I hate to say it, but when he's on, But yeah, I mean, if if let's say they go back to LA and they lose Game 6, then I will be shaking in my boots. That's for sure. Because I mean, this game, it's not looking good so far. A lot can happen, but it's Yankees have all the momentum. Just got to get, if you get 2 runs back before they score a run, I feel good. If you get one here or there, I don't know, but it's a hot start for the Bronx Bombers, unfortunately.
Well, Jory is here. How are you doing, Jory? She says that the Yankees and their fans can rot. Okay. Okay.
Big facts.
That's true. That's true. I'm with Cub fans. I dislike Cub fans out there. I mean, Dave Roberts was ready for this though. The bullpen is loaded. They did talk about it. If Flaherty, he did have his struggles in that second outing against the Mets. Game 1 against the Mets, he was fine. And then he came out and he gave up 8 runs the next time around. So the Mets figured him out. The Yankees might have found a little bit of something there with Flaherty in this one. We'll see. Maybe Roberts goes elsewhere in the second. I don't think you can move on in the first inning here unless if it's a complete blow up. But I think like second inning, maybe they dip into that bullpen and just, say to heck with it. Like we got to play. Or if it gets out of hand, you just say I play for tomorrow. Like, or not tomorrow, but you're playing for that game 6 then at that point. Like if this thing gets too they got out of the first. So we'll see. Maybe Flaherty doesn't come back out for that second inning. I don't know. Rough start. Like you said, with Cole out there, I just don't like the chances of a 3-0 hole against Garrett Cole is tough. That's tough because Cole is going to go about 6. Unless if he just implodes, he's going about 6 or 7 for the Yankees in this one. So
I've seen Garrett Cole give up a couple of home runs in the postseason. That's your best bet because once you get Cole rattled, that's where you beat him. Because we know he's very moody, he's kind of standoffish. When things are going well, he's very confident. But if it starts snowballing on him, then he becomes a different pitcher. That's what the Dodgers have to do. You have to get all 3 runs back in the second inning. Scratch 1 across, and then see how Cole reacts to it. See how that lineup. Look, the Yankees have names in their lineup, but I still don't like their lineup. It is still Judge dependent. He's been terrible. Stan has been a surprise. I will give him props for that. As long as he's not running on the bases, like in the batter's box, he's been legit. Soto, I think we all knew Soto was going to be really good. That's just who he is. So if the Dodgers can just claw away at this, the pressure goes back on the Yankees, and then we'll see what they're made of. Because right now they're flying high from yesterday. They're flying high now because they have the lead. The Dodgers have to take back some momentum. I agree with you, Aaron. Like if it goes to game 6 and they go out to LA and win, I would have zero faith in the Dodgers slowing that momentum and winning a game 7, even though it would be in LA. I don't like these are 2 teams you don't really trust. The fact they're going against each other is why it's kind of entertaining, but why it's like, couldn't we just get somebody else in here? So I don't know. I still have the Dodgers.
I'll be honest, Kyle, on that point. As much as I don't want to sound like a front like the Dodgers. I'm not going to root for them outside of this, but I've come to not hate them during this series. They're not a hateable team. Where in the regular season, from afar, they're kind of easy to hate. But watching them in this series, they haven't been obnoxious. They haven't even when they pimp, Freddie Freeman, right? He's literally the guy down the street. He's just a normal dude. So he's not pimping home. Jazz Chisholm hit a home run and he's going. He's acting like he won the home run derby. You know what I mean? So it's 2 different. Some people like that type of stuff. I just don't. So it's you can't lose game 6 though. You cannot. If you lose tonight, all right, swallow your pride. But can't lose games like you said.
6 is must win.
6. I would bet on the Yankees to win the whole thing if the Dodgers lose game 6.
All right.
I'm not against a good home run pimp. I'm not gonna lie. I love that.
Momentum, right? He's following up another bomb. He just, watch Judge hit a bomb. Now he's following it up. You get hype. You're hype.
You're playing to the crowd.
I feel like the Dodgers don't really. It's just they're busy. They just go about their business. I don't know. I like that more. But whatever. It's no matter what the Yankees do, I'm gonna hate it. I absolutely hate them. Hate the logo. Hate everything. Hate them all. So
I respect that.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that one.
If the Cubs did that trade, you know what I mean? It's if the Brewers did it, it's fine. If the Cubs, I hate them. I hate it. I hate the
Cubs could be business as usual, and I still hate the Cubs. It doesn't matter what they do. I still hate the Cubs. That's just how it is.
I'm set by 100. That's where I'm sitting right now.
I feel you there. So let's get to some Bucks. I want to talk about a little bit of Bucks today. Kyle's here. We got to get into the NBA. Kyle, we saw this Bucks team take on your Celtics. And it didn't look bad. I thought the Bucks actually, if they played like that against the Nets, if they played like that against the Bulls, they probably would have won those 2 games. They didn't play bad, but defensively, this Bucks team is still struggling. They're still struggling to find any kind of identity. They have Prince guarding Jaylen Brown out there, and he's doing circles around him. Prince is not keen in on guarding Jaylen Brown in a basketball game. Pritchard's open for wide open 3 after wide open 3 all day long. Brook Lopez can't go out and defend, and he can't get back to help in the block there. What are you seeing with this Bucks team right now? it's kind of nerve-wracking for me. I don't want to get nervous because I still think they're going to be a playoff team, but we have Giannis telling us that this Bucks team has no identity. And then Doc goes back on that and says we're still looking for our identity. We don't have our identity yet. We had all off season to figure this one out. Why are we sitting here in, beginning of the season and we're like, we don't know what we're supposed to be doing right now. We look lost. We don't know where we are. What's going on? Dame and Giannis still don't seem like they're on the same page at times. What is going on in Milwaukee?
I guess the reason why they don't have an identity is it seems like they want to be a running up and down the floor type of team. Problem is, they're old. If you run Brook Lopez over the course of an 82-game season, he'll be worth nothing to you in the playoffs. Bobby Portis is up there. Dame's getting up there. Giannis could run all day, every day. Like, that style fits him. The rest of the team doesn't fit that style. So Doc may want to run. They're going to have to be selective with it. I think against the Celtics, the problem is the Bucks defensively like to pack the paint and allow you to shoot from the perimeter. Problem is the Celtics can really shoot. So when you face other teams in the East, I think the Bucks will be fine. Like, the Cavs aren't necessarily a great three-point shooting team, but they have some guys who can knock them down. The Heat, teams like that, I feel like the Bucks will be fine. The Celtics, they will have to hope that the Celtics are off from three, and then that allows them to keep it close, and then you can kind of rely on Giannis to just do Giannis stuff later in the game. So I wasn't surprised with the way that game went. I know a lot of people have been troubled by the Bucks' play so far. I am completely of the thought that you have Giannis out there, you have a shot. That guy will put it all on the line to try to win. And this is something that Doc doesn't like to do. He needs to blend the youth in with the veterans. Like, he likes the veterans because he knows that they know how to play in certain situations. The fact that some of these young guys don't know what they don't know, which is what they love to say about young players, can be a good thing. Like, you run them out there, you let them, put them in a lineup with Giannis and see, can you go up tempo and change it up on some teams? So I think they can get it done. I know Doc isn't the greatest coach. He's competent enough to get them to the playoffs. I don't know. I don't know about like Brook Lopez types in the playoffs either, because I guess the Celtics, he played a lot in the post, which is something I've kind of been wanting him to do. But he's also a guy that tends to float more towards the perimeter the deeper we get into the season. And that's always been one of my issues with his game. Because, yes, he's still a tall guy. I know he's not as young as he once was, like Brooklyn and all that. But he still knows what he's doing in the post. I don't know why, certain times during games, you can go like a 3-possession stretch. You just put Brook on the block, let him put his hand up, throw it down to him, and see what he can do. Where the Bucks get into trouble, they get predictable. Giannis up top, guys getting out of his way, and he tries to bowl over defenders and get to the rim. Why the Celtics are so good against him? One, Horford, very smart defender, and they'll usually bring in a guy to help when Giannis tries to do his spin move off of that. So I wouldn't read too much into it. It's still early in the season, but I am going to be paying attention to kind of the minutes that are allocated to guys like Prince, like you brought up. Prince is somebody that if he can knock down some shots, you play him. If he has a game like he did against the Celtics where he's reaching in, fouling early, not giving you anything offensively, you got to move off of him. He's not a guy you want to die on that hill because you want to give him minutes. You sit him down, put in Jackson or one of these younger players, and if they don't have it, then you can go back to him. You can't have him playing 35 minutes and giving you 4 points while not playing good perimeter defense. At that point, what is he good for?
Yep. No, I completely agree. And, you mentioned it there with the Bucks being predictable, the offense being predictable for Milwaukee. And I look at a team like the Celtics, right? And that team is so good facilitating the basketball. It's like it's not in one spot for more than a second and that ball is moving again. And that's how they get wide open shots, right? Pritchard, yes, it's lack of defense at times too from Milwaukee in some of those spots in that game, but also it's the ball movement from the Celtics. There's guys constantly cutting, moving around, everything like that. I watch the Bucks and it's like, okay, this time we do it. But the next time down, it's like Dame on the world. And then the next time down, it's Giannis on the world. And then Brook Lopez comes down and he fires up a three. He's shooting. I mean, Brook Lopez has struggled to shoot the basketball to start the season. I mean, he's 23% from downtown at the moment. Not a great clip at the, right now. Hopefully that starts to improve. But you have such a drop off in scoring right now. You're talking 28 points a game from Giannis, 28 points a game from Dame. And then you drop down to 11 from Brook Lopez and 11 from Bobby Portis coming off your bench. So the lack of scoring right now is the thing that's alarming. You have guys like Deleon Wright who came in. He's struggled offensively so far. He's averaging a point a game for you right now. Gary Trent's been a solid ad, 10 points a game. You can't complain about that. Like that's what you brought him in. You brought him in for the defensive aspect there in the guard position. The thing that worries, okay, if Chris Middleton comes back, right? Middleton comes back, you're not getting better defensively. You might be getting better offensively, but defensively, you're not improving at all. So how do you're trying to navigate an Eastern Conference right now with very good guard play. Tyrese Maxey out there with the 76ers. And then you have the Celtics with, guards galore. You could pick one of those guys. They could be a guard on your team for you. You got Donovan Mitchell. You have all these great guards in the East right now. And you're trying to balance that out with Dame right now with a guy like Gary Trent. It's just like you got liabilities on the defensive end of the court right now, and you can't score enough points to back. You'd almost want to then, if you're going to have this kind of lineup, you got to be scoring buckets, right? You got to be able to put up points with teams like the Celtics then. Right now, we're lacking that offensive capability to be able to do something like that. Do you think that even a guy like Chris Middleton coming back, is that going to fix the lack of offense that this Bucks team has right now? Or, are you at a point where you're saying to yourself, like you said, we got to dive deeper into this young pool of players like AJ Green, like heck, even a rookie that we just drafted. I don't care. We got to dive deep into this pool right now and find somebody who we can throw out there and can give us minutes and give us buckets, because I'm looking at this roster right now and there's a massive drop off in production.
Yeah, look, Middleton is a guy who can score. Problem is, it's been like several years since we've seen really quality play out of him, especially for a consistent period of time. At some point, you're going to be worried about how much of the injuries completely just stripped away from him. He used to be a guy who gave you, ability to offense, like in the mid-range, shoot the three, while playing somewhat decent defense. My worry is going to be have the injuries stripped away enough of the defense that now he's more of a liability on that end of the floor, and then offensively he struggles where it doesn't balance out. So he's a guy who can score, which is what the team needs, because like you said, right now the team is going to be is only going to go as far as Giannis and Dame can take them. And when you're talking about some of these Eastern Conference teams that are built similarly, but they have secondary guys who can contribute. You look at like Cleveland. You have Donovan Mitchell, who everybody knows. They also have Mobley. They have Garland. They have guys like that. You talk about Boston. Everybody focuses on Tatum Brown, but they on most nights 6, sometimes 7 guys get into double figures. So it's going to be tough for Milwaukee on some nights, and then other nights they'll blow out teams like your Washingtons, your Charlottes, and stuff like that. You don't worry about that. But it's against the top teams in the East. It's tough. Dame hasn't necessarily been in the postseason enough that he's a great postseason player. And that's kind of the I don't know, the unpredictability with this Bucks team. We know Giannis is good. We know Giannis is great. How much of these other players can you trust over the course of the 82 games and when you get into the playoffs in like May and June? That's where it's going to be tricky. it may turn into that they need to make a move at the trade deadline. Just bring in something that's just new. That's kind of, it's almost like the Bucks are getting stale at this point.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. I agree 100%. It's going to be interesting. I mean, they got the Grizzlies coming up next, so we're going to be watching that game tomorrow night here. That should be a
That's
good
gonna be a
one.
tough
It's going to
matchup.
be
Yeah.
it's going to be a tough matchup in, playing at Memphis there. So it's a tough environment to go into, especially on a 3-game losing streak, but we'll see what they do against the Grizzlies before they come back home to take on the Cavs on the 2nd. So a little bit of Bucks basketball there. I want to jump into the Badgers because we've talked about the Badger-Penn State matchup enough. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Aaron wants to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We don't want to talk about it. We don't. We're done with it. We're done with it. We're over it. I want to get into
I
it.
watched highlights of the game. I was deep diving into stuff. You don't want to talk about it? All right.
Kyle's ready. Okay, Kyle's ready. We're going to talk about aspects of the game. We're not going to talk about that whole thing. So So I look at that matchup, right? It's done, over with. Wisconsin loses another game where it's almost a heartbreaker, right? You had shots in that game to win it, to take a bigger lead, whatever it was. You lose the game. Ultimately, you move on with life, right? So I get to the point now where I'm watching. We just talked about the Milwaukee Bucks, and we're like, this offense is so predictable, right? It's so predictable. I look at that Wisconsin-Penn State matchup, and I look at the same thing. This offense is predictable. Wisconsin's offense is so simple. It's Tyree Walker lines up on the left side of Braden Locke. He's going to the right. He lines up on the right side. He's going to the left. I look at Penn State's offense in that game, and I look at the amount of trickery and the different, options that they have. And just the play calling in general is just a wide open book. Whereas Wisconsin seems like we're on one page. We're on one page of a book, and we're so scared to flip to another one. We don't know what to do. So my worry with the Badgers right now is we're so vanilla. We're so basic. We don't know what we are, right? One time you look at the Badgers against Penn State there. They blew it over the top to CJ Williams, got a big gainer there down the sideline. And then all of a sudden we go back to this protective football. Now we're conservative. Now we're trying to run the ball. The run game ain't there. So now we go run on first down, run on second down, third down, we try to throw the ball. Not there. Okay, punt. Done. It's so predictable right now with Wisconsin. So I guess, Aaron, starting with you, watching that game, I mean, are you seeing the same thing with Wisconsin right now? This just seems like such a predictable offense in those big games where they're trying to play conservative football. They don't want to try and make, let bad things happen. They want to stay out of that. And for me, some of that worry comes back on, okay, when we get into those big games, how do you win them if, you go into the locker room, don't make adjustments to your offensive scheme, and then Penn State comes out, they make those adjustments? I mean, is that kind of what you're seeing, what you saw in that game against Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, Wisconsin's game plan was like, I think they went out there and just thought we're going to dominate the run game, which didn't, that couldn't be less, that just did not work. That was the furthest thing from, what they thought, what they would execute. So I don't think their strength is dropping. I mean, I'm looking these stats back up, like Braden Locke dropped back 42 times, and I'm not going to put it, 100% on him. But I don't think your recipe, like, I'm not saying he's horrible. Like, I don't want to say he's like trash. He's not trash, but his decision making is questionable. I'll put it that way. So I think they tried to just kind of handcuff him to a certain degree, which you can't win big games unless, like, your running game. If your running game was getting 4 or 5 yards a clip, absolutely you could, handcuff him. But at the point where, like, you saw Tyree Walker doing like nothing, basically, just they were not allowing him to do anything defensively, you got to think, okay, well, maybe Braden Locke makes a mistake, like that interception, right? He just threw that to the guy on Penn State. Like, okay, you can't have that. First of all, you can't. If you want to win big games, you can't. But you can't play scared to win either. Like, I've seen Penn State play scared to lose. Like, you got to play to win, not play scared to lose. And I think that, like, you hit on that, Trajan, the fact that they just kind of, went vanilla. Like, they still tried to force the run game, which I understand. You still want to have run pass. Like, if you're dropping back every time, that's not going to work either. But, I mean, they would run pretty much the same formation and run the ball. They wouldn't even try and run the ball differently. I just, like, if I'm sitting there as a Wisconsin fan, I think there were moments, like you know Penn State's one of the best teams in the nation in the second half. Like that's how they play. I don't personally love how they play like that, but that's just so in my mind, you got to go for kill shot after kill shot after kill shot in the first half. Like you got to be up 20 point. Like we saw USC just run rampant on Penn State in the first half. Obviously, Penn State did enough, but it took literally everything. It took like overtime. It took a missed kick. Like everything had to go Penn State's way. So if I'm Wisconsin, I'm looking back on that game saying, why didn't we, take deep shots more in the first half? If Braden Locke throws a pick, so be it. You're not supposed to win that game anyway. Like go into it like, let's throw everything at the wall, see if it sticks, instead of this like, well, we're going to try and play possession game and we're going to try and, eventually, even with, I give him a little bit of slack because of Bo Prabula coming in, right? You have no idea what, like it started out horrible. Like it looked like I told you, I was convinced Penn State was going to lose because of Prabula fumbling the snap. Like, I'm just like, this is an absolute mess. I've seen this before, but yeah, I just think they had their chances. At least you try. Like I said, I don't trust Braden Locke to beat, a good defense. I just, until I see it, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
You got to try. This whole, like, let's play conservative. Very rarely does that work against a really good, a top 10 team. I'll say it like that. So.
Yeah. And the hardest part with Braden Locke is you run an offense where an option is in there, right? All these run plays are options. And Penn State or other teams, right? Oregon, whoever it is, they don't have to respect Braden Locke running the football because he doesn't pull it. He doesn't look to run. So Tyree Walker is just hung out to dry on every play. Like he got the ball and he's looking out straight ahead and he's like, okay, the DN's right there. Like there's no way I'm running this ball. So Braden Locke's inability to be able to pull it is also a problem. He did it against Purdue. I believe that was Northwestern. I believe it was that game against Northwestern. He had a touchdown run there. He pulled it perfect. The option play worked out there. His inability to also move with his legs is also a problem there. You got to have, if you're going to run an offensive style like that, you got to have the ability to do that because you're setting up in shotgun. You're setting up in the shotgun set there. It's hard for a runner to get himself moving in the shotgun. He's got to have that ability to come downhill. You're just getting more predictable with that. And that's the problem there. Kyle, you said you studied up on this game here between Penn State and the Badgers there. You watch Braden Locke out there. And I don't want to, a lot of people are calling for Braden Locke's job at this point. They're like, this guy is terrible. Get him out of there. Okay. Like the book is not completely written on Braden Locke. He has his moments, and I'll agree. He's got his moments. I don't like him at times, but I know he's got a good arm. I think sometimes he actually throws the ball too hard. Like I didn't know that was a thing, but sometimes he's got to learn how to dial it back just a little bit, if you know what I mean. But you look at Braden Locke in that game, and what were your thoughts coming out of that game there? You watched a little bit. What were your thoughts of Braden Locke coming out of that game?
So, I thought Locke made plays. He made some good throws where you're like, okay, there's a quarterback in there. But like Aaron said, that pick over the middle, you can't have that. That's something that as a underdog can completely kill your momentum and everything that you had going in that game. Like I liked early on the fake punt. Like that's something you do when you're an underdog. It seemed like they were willing to be somewhat creative between the 20s. And then as they got into like red zone area, they got conservative and settled for field goals. Because that's basically what this game came down to. When the Badgers were driving, it led to field goals most of the time. Penn State, when they got down red zone area, it was touchdowns. So if you're going to allow touchdowns on one end and only score field goals on the other, you now have to do twice as much to keep up with the team that's scoring touchdowns when they get in that area. So, Walker, I like what I see from him. Like he's a tough runner, but I feel like in the second half we kind of saw Penn State kind of just key in on Walker and slow him down, and then force Locke to try to just beat them by himself. And I don't think he's there yet. So, if you are a Badger fan and you're like, oh, get somebody else in there. I don't know. I think he has talent in that arm. It's just decision making. That's what a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks can throw it through a brick wall, but what good is that if you don't hit the right receiver or you're a little late on your throw? So I think you kind of ride it out with them. I mean, what are they? What 5-3 right now?
Yep. 5 and 3.
You're right on the cusp of bowl eligibility. You see what he can do. Like if the season completely bottoms out and you lose from here on out, okay, then you can question it. But a loss to a top 5 ranked team in Penn State in a game that, yes, it was 28-13, but for the most part, it was a pretty back and forth type of game. It was
Yep.
just that one mistake, that pick six, just kind of killed everything. So I think it was like a decent showing for the Badgers. Sure, you'd love to get the upset there, but I also think it shows for Penn State. When I was watching, it was like Penn State is a well-run team. Sometimes they get a little, but I also wonder with them because they can be a little conservative as well, a little bit, but they're not unlike Wisconsin's level. Like they come out like 4 wide, they have motion and all kind of stuff. And I'm like,
Yep.
okay, I like this from Penn State. I always have questions with Big Ten teams, and maybe this is just me as look. I'm from Boston. I watch Big East. I watch BC football. Not the greatest football, but whenever I watch Big Ten, I'm like a lot of Big Ten teams are like Michigan. When I see Michigan with Jim Harbaugh last season, run the ball, rely on defense, in my mind, that's what Big Ten football is. So, in fact, seeing Penn State spreading it out, I'm like, okay, a little bit different for me. And that's where I always wonder with Big Ten teams when they get into the bowls against SEC, Big 12, those type of teams, whether or not they have enough firepower to kind of hang with those teams. So I will say, for Penn State, from what I saw, I actually feel a little bit better about them. I don't know if I would go crazy and pick them in a game like that, but I know Aaron how you feel about James Franklin. I thought it was a good showing against Wisconsin. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. That was a good showing.
They proved it when it counted, right? They proved it when it counted.
Yeah.
The Badgers gave them that sucker punch, and they found a way to make it work at the end. The thing that irritated me with Wisconsin, and it was on the defensive side. So, Aaron, you alluded to it there. Bo comes in, first snap he fumbles, right? He's nervous. This game is still on edge, right? The Badgers are still up. This game is still on edge. The Badgers didn't do anything about pressuring Bo. They didn't do anything. Like, if I see a backup quarterback coming into that game, I am sending the house. I don't even care. I'm sending the house. I am making him know that I'm here for you. I'm coming for you every single play because I don't respect you. Drew Aller, I respect him. We don't know nothing about Bo. Maybe he's going to be a great quarterback, but at this moment, we know nothing. So I'm sending the house at you. You're in a hostile environment. You can't hear your sideline right now because it was loud in there. Trust me, I was there. I mean, it was loud. It was a very loud environment. He's freaking out. I am sending the house, but the Badgers didn't. They were like, let's rush 4. Okay, the 4 is not making it through. Okay, now let's bring maybe an extra guy. Okay, now we just got beat on a 30-yard pass. It's just the Badgers, they played it conservative on defense. They played it conservative on offense. It wasn't like they were gunning for it, right? In those kinds of games, you got to gun it. You got to play ballsy. You have to go for it at times. You got to make things happen. And that's just something Wisconsin didn't do. That's just something they didn't do in this game. And I mean, you mentioned they're right on the edge of bowl, eligibility right there. They got a tough slate. They got Iowa on the road this week. They got Oregon next week. Nebraska, I mean, I don't know what to think about Nebraska. I still think they're a solid team, but they're iffy up in the water. And then you have Minnesota, who beat USC. So you never know what to expect, especially in a rivalry game like that. It's a tough spot for Wisconsin. I think this last game out against Penn State kind of showed me, okay, the Badgers are trending in the right direction. They just don't have those players yet. They don't have those players. They don't, Braden Locke is a fine quarterback. I like Braden Locke. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback, but he's not a quarterback who's going to take me over the top. I saw it in that last drive. The Badgers had 2 minutes, whatever it was, to get down the field there, try to score a touchdown, kick an onside kick. And it was such a conservative, slow drive. You know, it was short little route here. You're not going to come back in that game with those short little routes. It just wasn't going to happen. It was one of the, and I think that kind of affects what Phil Longo, what the playbook can really do for you is when you have a quarterback like that, where maybe you don't trust him as much as you should, or maybe you don't trust his ability to run or throw the ball into traffic or anything like that. It limits you as a play caller too. So I want to say that I don't trust Phil Longo as a play caller, but it's like, okay, if he had, let's just say Dylan Gabriel, right, from Oregon. If he had Dylan Gabriel in the room right now and he's, we still stunk, right? The offense still looked like hot garbage. I don't think it could, but it still looked like hot garbage. Okay, now I'm like, I don't know about Phil Longo. But I don't know about Braden Locke right now, right? He's still a young developing quarterback. So I'm like, okay, is Phil Longo really the problem? Is it the vanilla playbook, or is it a vanilla playbook because Braden Locke doesn't have the capability to take you over the top? I don't know on that one yet. I think the book is still being written on what Phil Longo can actually bring to Madison. And until we have a quarterback in there who we feel comfortable with, I don't think we're going to get that answer for that. I don't like Phil Longo's play calling. For me, I would just open it up. I would just open up the playbook, have Braden Locke, put all faith in him, see what he can do. Like you said, Aaron, or whoever said it, I lost track. Take more shots, right? Take more shots against Penn State in that first half. Do those little things. Try to be explosive. That's the things that those are the things that irritate me with Phil Longo right now. I don't know. I'm at a loss right now with what to think about that. Now, the Badgers did have a lot of drops in that first half against Penn State. They did have a lot of drops. The receivers were dropping the ball left and right. Now, not to say Penn State didn't have their own drops, because there was a first down play, it was a third down play. They had a wide open receiver and he just completely dropped the ball. Nobody was around. I was like, oh, thank God. Like, that would have sucked. But I mean, you have drops. The Badgers had a few drops in that one. So I'm looking ahead to Iowa and I'm like, okay, what do I want to see? What do I want to see against Iowa in this one? Well, first off, I want to see the run game find itself again, because we saw absolutely zero holes against Penn State. Yeah, there was a few runs. Tyree Walker still went 59 yards, but I want to see that run game against Iowa. I want to see him reestablish that in that game. I got to see the D-line get some pressure. Like, I got to see the D-line do me something in that game that says that we have the ability to put pressure on a quarterback, because right now we stink in that aspect. The secondary, I mean, I don't know what happened against Penn State, but there were guys running wide open. Like, this is a secondary where I trusted him going into this game, and I'm watching that game, and it's like, okay, he's wide open. Okay, he's wide open. Now, Bo, I give all respect to Bo coming into that game, but some of those passes that he had there, the 11 for 13 night, there were, probably 7 of them where there wasn't even a Badger in the area code, and it was a completed pass. Now, that's a lot to do with play calling. Like, there was a lot of great play calls in that game. So I'll give hats off to the offensive coordinator there for Penn State. But, the Badgers, it's like they were lost. I don't know what happened. It's like they were lost. So I got to see the secondary take a step forward. And I want to see Braden Locke look more poised, right? I want to see Braden Locke look poised in this game. For one time, not throw an interception, because I believe every start that he's had, he's thrown an interception at this point. So I got to see Braden Locke go through a game without an interception for once here to just feel confident, right? You're trying to see a young quarterback become more confident in himself, have better decision-making, all those little things. I just got to see those little things in this game. And I feel like I'm going to feel a lot better. I'm going to feel a lot better about the trajectory of this team, where they're sitting, everything like that. But those are some of the little tidbits that I have that I want to see in this upcoming game. I want to get into the rankings real fast here. I want to jump to the rankings. We have the updated AP poll coming out right now. Penn State didn't move. I thought, Oregon's at number 1. We have Georgia at the 2 spot. We have Penn State in the 3, Ohio State 4. We have Miami 5, Texas 6, Tennessee 7, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas A&M. Anybody in that top 25 that, sees, like, you guys see that one, you're like, oh, look at them. Like, is there anybody in that top 25 where you're like, what the heck is that? Indiana at 13 right now. I love that. Indiana is playing some great football. I saw a stat today. I wonder if I saved that stat from Indiana. Let's see. I did not save that one. They have beat, you look at the similar opponents to Ohio State and Penn State and elsewhere. They have beat those opponents by like double of what those teams have. So it was just an interesting stat there about the offense for Indiana. But I love what I'm seeing out of them right now. Anybody interesting that you guys see in the top 25?
I mean, look, I see what you're saying about Penn State, but we kind of know Oregon and Georgia are, in terms of voters, like it's going to be tough to kind of split those two if those two continue to win. I think Penn State at 3. I mean, that seems fine with me. Kind of looking at the other teams that are around that area. I don't know, I think Miami's a little intriguing to me. You know, they have was it Cam Ward, a quarterback who's been in college for a while now. It seems like Miami went through some times a couple of years ago where they were at a low point, and now they've like rebuilt themselves, and they're interesting to watch again because obviously it was like in the '90s. A lot of college football was Miami. They were one of the big brands, and it kind of seemed like they've been forgotten the past couple of years. So seeing them as a top 5 team now, I'm intrigued by them because some of these other teams around them are like legit powerhouses. Texas, we know you got Ewers, you got Manning, so they got a lot of cachet behind them. I don't know, it's still funny seeing Alabama at 14. like recent years, like you always expect Alabama 1 or 2. Seeing them as a mid kind of ranked team is weird. Like they're right ahead of Boise State. I don't know the last time I remember looking at rankings and seeing Alabama that far down. Not to say they still aren't a threat, but that's probably the biggest surprise of me, just seeing Alabama in the teens.
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what Kyle said, I'll echo that. I mean, Trajan has definitely been down on the the Crimson Tide there, and like I have too, but I mean they're not the same team, right? Like they just don't look, Trajan always talks about they're not disciplined. Like it's kind of deserving of its number in some respects because it's just like they've dropped 2 games already. They had a couple scares against teams that aren't nearly as good. Team unranked teams, this and that. It is like you said, Kyle. It is strange, right? It's like just seeing them outside of the top 5 is like almost like just a gut punch. I'm sure to their fans, but it's just like shell shocking. BYU, I mean, I don't know. I have no confidence in them to beat like a real good team, in my opinion. They just, I don't know. They don't do it for me. I've watched 2 or 3 of their games this year. I don't know. I mean, they're deserving because they're undefeated, right? But it's like one of those, like when Cincinnati was in the college football playoff and got absolutely like steamrolled. Like that's the type of thing I see with BYU. That's just how I feel about them. I mean, I give them credit. They beat a Kansas State team earlier this year, pretty decisively. I don't know. That's one team that the rankings probably deserving so of how they played. I don't trust them to do anything of them, if that makes sense there. I mean, I could see where, I don't know, and this makes me sound like insane probably. I could see a world where Ohio State's above Penn State only because they barely lost to Oregon, and Oregon's the number 1 team. I hate to say it. I mean, I hate Ohio State more than anything in this world, but like they're a good team, right? They're a good team. They choke in big games with Ryan Day, and I'm here for it. I hope they never get rid of him for that fact. But I mean, they're a great team. I'd be shocked if Penn State beats them this weekend. Who knows? But that's obviously they're a staple for like the top 5 at the very least there. So I mean, yeah, the rankings for the most part, I think do make sense. It is weird also seeing Indiana ranked as high as they are, but they're playing, they're well deservingly of that, and you can make a case they should be up there a little higher, if anything. That's for sure. It's just so weird. Like I am not used to Indiana even being respectful. Like they're usually god awful. So there's that. But yeah, I mean the rankings so far are interesting. It's also funny that I know Michigan has like 3 losses. It's awesome not seeing them in the top 25, and then all the Pitt fans are going crazy because they're ranked. It's like, okay, we'll see what happens there, but like their fans are just going ballistic. They act like they're number 1. So it's it's a lot of like with this whole conference realignment too. It's kind of interesting, seeing some of these teams being ranked where they are versus where some aren't. But I mean, you still got to think, oh my God, Stanton hits a home run, 5-0 Yankees. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's kind of a wide in some respect. Like I don't know if Oregon's like above and beyond that much better than everybody else. Like we saw Ohio State run them to the wire. I don't think there's like that Bama team of like previous years where it's like, they would destroy everybody by 20. Like it's just, I don't think you see that this year, which is kind of fun, but yeah, it is pretty interesting.
The one team that I look at on the outside looking in is Vanderbilt, and they're coming off a 3-point loss to Texas. That Vanderbilt team, if they lost that stupid game early on. I believe it was to like Georgia State. And if they didn't lose that game to Georgia State, they would have one loss to Missouri and one loss to Texas. Like that would be a respectable Vanderbilt. They're still respectable. I mean, they beat Alabama. They lost by 3 to Texas. Like that's a respectable team right there. They lost by 3 to Missouri. Like this is a Vanderbilt team that's like retooled, redefined, looking good. Like, look at these ranked teams that they're playing up against right now, and they're playing good. It's just that Georgia State loss that is like it's just putting them down right now. But son of a gun, 5-3, I would have still thrown them in top 25. I'd have left them right at 25. I don't even care. Like Washington State, I would have dropped them out. They've played nobody. They suck. Like Washington State is nobody. I mean, they don't even have a conference.
For the vibes. Let Vanderbilt in.
Right? Just put them in. I don't even care. Lafayette got 3 votes to get in there. I don't know what Lafayette's doing right now, but apparently they're doing something good because they got 3 votes to get in the top 25. I forgot that was even a program there. So great stuff there in college football. We're going to jump quick. Hunter has a message for us about Wisconsin hockey right now. He's got his weekend recap. So we're going to get to that, and then I want to look into our fact of the day and the Packers when we come back. So we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Welcome to this week's Badger Hockey Recap. Let's dive into the action-packed weekend, starting with the Badger women's hockey team. On Thursday night, the Badgers dominated Bemidji State in a 4-0 victory at LeBron Arena. Lila Edwards opened the scoring off with a power play goal halfway through the first period, assisted by Kristen Sims. Marianne Picard doubled the lead 7 minutes into the second period. Cassie Hall added another late in the second, and Claire Enright sealed the deal with the goal to end the night. Goalie Ava McNaughton was stellar, stopping all 13 shots that she faced. The momentum carried into Friday night as the Badgers captured their 10th straight win to start the season, with a commanding 6-0 victory. 5 different Badgers found the back of the net that night. Lacey Eden got things started with a shot that deflected off of a Bemidji State defector. Lila Edwards then made it 2-0 late in the first. The second period saw an offensive explosion with goals coming from Eden, making it her second of the night, Kelly Gorbenko, Cassie Hall, and Kristen Sims. A special shout out to junior Lila Edwards, who reached her 100th career point in just 92 games, an incredible milestone for an outstanding player. Switching over to the men's, on Friday night, it was a tough battle against the top-ranked Denver Pioneers. The Badgers put up a strong fight but ultimately fell short 2-4. Freshman Gavin Morrissey gave Wisconsin an early lead just 4 minutes into the game. Denver tied it up with a goal from Eric Polkamp, but the Badgers quickly responded with a goal from Quinn Finley, making it 2-1. Denver tied it up again with a power play goal from Sam Harris late in the first period. The game remained deadlocked until Denver took a lead with 12 minutes left in the third period and added an insurance goal on an empty netter, making it a 4-2 victory for them. Wisconsin outshot Denver 33-25 on Friday night. Saturday night was a very, very much different story, with Wisconsin losing 1-6. Quinn Finley scored the Badgers' only goal on a power play with 7 minutes to go in the first period. Shots were 26-30 in Denver's favor. Wisconsin's first line has scored 9 out of 10 goals that the Badgers have scored so far this year. And the only other goal this year for the Badgers has come from defenseman Daniel Latch in the second game of the year against Lindenwood, which was a game-winning goal in overtime. Tommy Scarfone and William Graham both got starts in net over the weekend. and showing very similar stats all season long. All season long so far, Thomas Garfone has saved 48 of 57 shots, and William Graham saving 47 of 57. But he's the only one who also has a win all season. That's all for this week's Badger Hockey Recap. Stay tuned for more updates and exciting games ahead.
Always great stuff there from Hunter on Wisconsin hockey. He's lacking the confidence yet. He's getting there. You know, it's hard to talk into a mic when you're not looking at anybody else and you're just like talking to a wall. So it's his like second time doing a hockey recap for us. So he's working on it. He's getting better. We love it. He's doing great work over there, and he's going to keep doing it for us there. So love it there, Hunter. Aaron, we got to get to our fact of the day. Nothing gruesome. Nothing like that. Give me a good fact of the day. This guy, sometimes he gets a little scary over here.
Yeah, it gets a little, I mean, I forget what day that was, right? But that was slim pickings to say the least. I mean, that was just, we're digging for something at that
Hopefully
point.
we got a little more today.
Yeah, today is, we'll take it back to American history again. So not a controversial topic, right? After 14 years of work, Mount Rushmore was completed on this day in 1941. So historic site, obviously a landmark in the United States. Mount Rushmore was completed way back in 1941 on this day.
It took 14. Did you say 14 years?
14 years. Yeah, 14 years on that one.
That's impressive. 14 years to carve giant heads out of stone. Like that. Some impressive work right there. I wonder with today's new technology, what they could knock that down to, right? I mean, we got drones that could fly around with hammers on them. Like, how fast could somebody do it today versus what they did back then?
That's an interesting. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even go that route. I meant more so LeBron probably thinks he should be up there somewhere, you know, just because it's Mount Rushmore, you know, type of deal. But I know I like where you're at. I mean, I'm just like a jerk. I guess.
He's on the back side. They put the presidents on the front and they put LeBron on the back. If you go around the back of Mount Rushmore,
yeah, he's up top or something. But no, you're so. I mean, yeah, I would wonder if, you know, making one today. I mean, maybe we need a sports Mount Rushmore. You know, much as I don't like him, you know, you throw Tom Brady up there, you throw Michael Jordan, that type of. Like maybe we need to recreate one just for the sake of see how fast we could get it done. I mean, if it's anything like Dwayne Wade's sculpture, I don't think anybody wants it. That was atrocious. But yeah, I mean, that would be interesting, right?
100%. Boys, right now I'm watching my Badgers in an exhibition game against UW River Falls. It's 45-42. Now, mind you, UW River Falls is like division. They're in the WIAC. I think it's like Division 3 basketball. This is a D1 Wisconsin Badgers team right now, and they're up by 3 right now in the second half. So I'm not all in right now. I haven't been invested into watching to be able to tell you what's truthfully going on, but it's a 3-point game, and I don't like it because we got regular season right around the corner. College hoops is almost back. Like, we're going to be talking college hoops next week here on the show, and I don't want to be talking about why Wisconsin sucks week 1. Like, I don't want to be talking about that. I want to be talking about that like week 7. Like, give me some time. Give me some time to get over the Badgers football team, to get into Badgers basketball, to worry about the suck in that. Like, holy crap. I can't handle this much. But let's get to something, I guess, a little bit better. The Packers, right? Let's get to the Packers. Let's talk a little Packers here. Jordan Love gets evaluated, gets checked out. Jordan, it comes back clean, right? Just a groin strain. It's a day-to-day thing. We don't know much about it outside of that, right? He thinks that it's a realistic chance he plays on Sunday versus the Lions. I think it's probably a realistic chance he does try to play against the Lions on Sunday. I don't think there's much that's probably going to hold that guy out. But I want to get to something that I keep hearing all around, and there's like a group of people in the state of Wisconsin, or I don't even know, that for some reason thinks that even if Jordan Love is healthy. Now, I've heard this. This is baffling to me. I didn't think that this could be true. I thought maybe it was just one person trying to stir a pot. There is a group of people in the state of Wisconsin who believes that even if Jordan Love is healthy, we should start Malik Willis, because Malik Willis is undefeated at this point. Malik Willis hasn't lost us a game yet. So we should start Malik Willis. And I'm sitting there and I'm baffled. I'm lost because I want to squash this bug right here with us, right here, right now. Jordan Love is the better quarterback between Malik Willis and Jordan Love. Jordan Love's the better quarterback. Now, if you want to talk about athletic ability to run and all that, okay, Malik Willis is a great runner. He's a great runner. But you look at the wins that Malik Willis has had. Okay, he beat what? The Tennessee Titans. Okay, like he beat the Tennessee Titans. They have a decent defense, but outside of that, that's a struggling team, right? He beats the Indianapolis Colts. They ran the ball 52 times in that game. They beat the Indianapolis Colts. It was both close games. He also came in and beat the Jaguars, who are a fumbling team right now. And the Jaguars actually came back in that game and almost beat the Packers late if the Packers did not go down the field. He did orchestrate a drive late. I am not dissing on Malik Willis. He has been fantastic in the role that the Packers have asked him to play. But what I'm saying is Jordan Love is the better quarterback. Jordan Love does things with an offense that you dream of, that you ask of a franchise quarterback. He has the ability to throw the ball anywhere you want. Yes, the interceptions can be alarming. I agree 100%. But Patrick Mahomes has equal amount of interceptions on the season. He is right there with Jordan Love in interceptions right now. He doesn't have as many touchdown throws as Jordan Love has, but he has just as many interceptions. So what do you guys think? Malik Willis, Jordan Love, can we squash this tonight?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't need to be said. I mean, obviously, if Jordan Love can
You wouldn't
play,
think
he's better
so,
than Malik
Kyle. You
Willis.
wouldn't think so, but we're nuts up here, all right? We eat some cheese, we drink some
Hey,
beer, and we
look,
start tweeting out that Malik Willis is a starting quarterback.
you're talking to somebody from Boston. That's daily life for me. I got people talking about Brissett over Drake May, so I completely know where you're coming from. Look, all Malik Willis has shown is if you need him for a week or two, he's capable. You don't want Malik Willis for 17 games because he will be exposed. So if Jordan Love can play, he's going to like Packer fans who maybe are on the Malik Willis, train right now. You need to calm down because after like 5 games of him, you'd be like, okay, put Jordan Love back out there. I do agree with you. Like the interceptions at times can be frustrating, but the arm talent of Jordan Love is just hard not to acknowledge. Like he made what was it, the throw that he made to, I think it was Dobbs down the right sideline where he was completely covered and Jordan Love put it in the perfect place. Throws like that, a lot of quarterbacks today aren't making. If they are, it's getting knocked away, it's getting picked off. So that shows you what he can do. The scrambling ability that he has, and when he scrambles, like he's not trying to run necessarily. That's where he made the big play to Tucker Kraft. He scrambled out to his right, saw Kraft wide open in the middle of the field, threw it to him. So when Jordan Love is on and he's not forcing things necessarily, he makes it tough on defenses. Now Malik Willis, on the other hand, yes, his scrambling ability and his ability to run makes it difficult on defenses, but most defenses will play kind of like a zone, make sure he doesn't get, break contain and force him to beat you with his arm. Whereas Jordan Love can beat you multiple ways. So any Packers fans who are thinking that way, just stop. It's just unnecessary.
Aaron, what do you got for me? Come on, squash this bug tonight so we can just get over it because I can't handle it.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a conversation where it's like
this shouldn't be a conversation, but we're having it, right?
Right. This isn't the Raiders, right? This isn't like Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. It's like, well, take your pick, you're screwed either way. You know what I mean? You're not going to win either way. And there's fans out there, I'm sure, clamoring, oh, well, if we play Aiden O'Connell, we'll be fine. Like, no, like Jordan Love's been there, done that. I mean, what, it was the NFC divisional, or was it the NFC championship last year? He gets
divisional round.
Divisional, but still, yeah, I mean, like, we're not talking about a guy that's like teetering on, is he going to make it in the league, right? This is not like a Zach Wilson type of situation with the Jets when Mike White was like, oh, everybody's like, Mike F and White and this and that. Like, Jordan Love's the guy. Like, yes, you want to see your backup come in. Like, and I'll make it a point that being the guy is a lot different than being the guy that comes in and like Jameis Winston in Cleveland. Like, yeah, he came in, to his credit, he got the start, but he's not the normal starter. I would like to see him a whole season with the Browns, and he's probably better than Deshaun because, I mean, any one of us three is better than Deshaun and Watson at this point. But like Jordan Love is by far, I mean, it's not to me, I mean, give Malik Willis some credit, sure. Give Malik Willis a whole season. I'm good luck with that, in my opinion. Maybe he'd prove me wrong. Maybe he's like a Geno Smith type of like, you never know. Like he might find his footing in this league. But right now he's a backup for a reason. And the Titans got rid of him kind of for a reason, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So he's not a bad quarterback by any means, but Jordan Love's a solidified starter. So like all these Packers fans saying, Jordan Love, he's not, show me what Malik Willis can do. Like, come on, let's rein it in. You're lucky, not lucky. You're privileged to have Malik Willis waiting in the wings there if you need him. He's been good, solid so far, but I mean, it's not a conversation right now. Jordan Love is. I mean, they signed him for all that money too. So there's no way Jordan Love could bomb the rest of the season and they would not start Malik Willis. It's not feasible.
You signed Jordan Love for over 4,000 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions last year. That's why you signed Jordan Love. The second half that he put together last season was masterful. Like he was arguably the best quarterback down the stretch last season for anybody. And I mean, like we're all saying, we're not trying to discredit Malik Willis. He's been fantastic in the role that he's been playing, but I ask you this. I'll ask you, but you both this question. I'm going to ask you Malik Willis to this team right now. Do you think he could have the same kind of success? Okay. So Malik Willis, say these teams want to trade for him because they're uncertain about their QB1 or his health, maybe, right? Because that's going to be my first one. Malik Willis goes to the Dolphins. He's in the Dolphins situation right now. Do you think Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins can make Malik Willis look like this?
No. Like we saw how much he struggled with Huntley at quarterback. No,
Aaron?
Probably not. I think he'd be better than Huntley. I'll put it that way. I don't know. I'm a little bit out on Huntley, but he wouldn't. Like, there's no way he's outgunning Tua though. You know what I mean? Like, Tua is like. I don't care. Money aside, like you put a quarterback competition together, I don't think he outduels. Like Tua's ceiling, right? You look at Tua's week to week. I mean, who knows? But Tua's more solid than him. But I mean, if he's your go-to after Tua, I'd say they're in a better position than they are right now. Just because, Huntley's done nothing. Who's the other guy? Who's like forget his name. That's how irrelevant that he happens to be. So,
Colts. Could he do this on the Colts? Because similar player to Anthony Richardson. I would say he's probably got a little better decision-making and the ability to throw the ball short, not just long, but similar player to Anthony Richardson. Could he do this, have the same kind of success with the Colts?
Yeah, because I agree with you. I think Malik Willis would be he's able to do more on the field than Anthony Richardson. Richardson is boomer bust. He'll throw it 60 yards downfield and you'll get a touchdown, but he can't hit like a 5-yard out. Like, at least Malik Willis will be able to hit a crossing route. He can throw it downfield a little bit. He can run the same way as Anthony Richardson. I think Willis would be a better fit in Indy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from a upgraded game manager type of situation, I think that's what Malik Willis is. Like he's a step above a game manager. He's not like you're not going to form a franchise around him most likely.
Yep.
I mean, we're still he's still a young guy. I mean, the jury's still out. He could be, but Kyle, like you said, I mean, Anthony Richardson, boom or bust, that is definition of boom or bust. He's that. Now, I don't know if I would. I mean, just taking all the favoritism aside, I do like Flacco. I don't know. You don't really, do you insert him over Flacco? I don't know. That's a tough one to me. But
yep. No, we could go through a lot of teams and we could say if he fits or if he doesn't fit. But I think a big thing with Green Bay and with him is that the game plan kind of forms around him then. But it also takes away aspects of the game plan too. Takes away what you can do with Romeo Doubs or what you can do with Christian Watson or what you want to do here or there. Matt LaFleur has done fantastic with drawing up game plans for Malik Willis. Now, you look at this game against the Lions, and I heard it today. I can't remember where I heard it. But if you game plan for the Lions with Malik Willis in mind to be the starting quarterback, okay, you have a better shot against the Lions. But if you're thrown into a situation where all of a sudden you're throwing together a game plan for Malik Willis against the Lions, okay, now it's a different story. I don't know if you can go and beat the Lions with Malik Willis. That's going to be your true test, all you fans out there who think that, Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He hasn't played a great team yet. If he beats the Lions, okay, now I'm starting to veer on a fence with you because he looks good against the Lions. But, you have to see it against a good team, and he hasn't. I love Malik Willis. He's a great guy. He's done nothing but great for the Packers so far. It's Jordan Love. Jordan Love's the quarterback. Let's just squash that bug and let it go to bed. I'm done with that there. So I just wanted to get into a little stat here. Edgerrin Cooper, linebacker for the Packers, was named Defensive Player of the Week. That was awesome. Edgerrin Cooper, the rookie there, has been nothing but fantastic for this Green Bay Packer team. He might have actually solidified his spot in there in the regular rotation, maybe in the middle linebacker spot for the Green Bay Packers, the way that he's played. I mean, he's fourth on the team right now in tackles. He's got, let's just see here, he's got 5 tackles for loss here on the season and 2.5 sacks. Like, you love that out of a linebacker there. And Edgerrin Cooper, a young guy, led the team in tackles last week. Great week for Edgerrin Cooper. Another guy, Tucker Kraft. I mean, you're talking about a guy among tight ends right now with a minimum of 20 targets. He's second in passer rating when targeted, tied for first in missed tackles forced, second in yards per catch, second in yards after contact, first in yards after contact per catch, and second in touchdowns right now. The Packers have a tight end of superstardom in the making right now in Green Bay, and you love what he's been doing for this Packers team. So just a couple of little tidbits there. Also in the injury report, it was massive. Jair Alexander did not participate in practice. Neither did Jordan Love. Evan Williams, you had a bunch of guys missing there, but it was also one of those Wednesday practices, right? You kind of just, move on with it. We'll see what Thursday and Friday bring, and that'll tell us a little bit more about this Packer. It's Jared Goff didn't practice for the Lions on today either. So he did not practice due to rest. It was his ankle again. So we'll see. Maybe it's going to be quarterback 2 versus quarterback 2 come Sunday for Packers and Lions. Like, that might be what we get. I don't know. Game of the week's going to have 2 quarterbacks that they did not expect when they get in there. Tom Brady's going to be dissecting Malik Willis versus, I don't even know who the backup quarterback is for the Detroit Lions right now, but Tom Brady's going to be like dissecting these 2 out. That does sound right.
Yes, it is.
I want to say yes. I really do. Let me double check. Hendon Hooker, yeah, 100%. I'm a big Hendon Hooker guy. I thought he was a real talent coming out of college. I'd love to see him play. I'd love to see him play in that game against Malik Willis. Like, that'd be one of them games right there. Like, the final score would be like 49-45, just a gunslinging battle between Malik Willis and Hendon Hooker. Like, just something storybook ending right there, right? Storybook ending. So I want to get in. Let's stay with the NFL. I want to talk about some contenders here because I'm looking at the slate of teams right now, and I'm like, okay, who's a contender? Who's not actually a contender? Like, I'm looking. Okay, so if you had to pick your contenders in the NFC, who would they be? Who are your contenders for, are we talking Super Bowl? Maybe we're talking Super Bowl. Maybe we're talking like NFC Championship possibility. Who are your realistic contenders to actually make noise in the playoffs in the NFC?
I feel like if you're gonna look at the NFC, I've got the Lions, I got the Packers, I've got the Vikings. Outside of that, you're looking at. I actually think what Washington is doing right now is legit. Look, if you're gonna win a game like that against the Bears, there's got to be something in the air for you. So I think Washington might be legit this year. I'm not going to count out Philly. Like, they have the pedigree to do it. I just need to see them play better for a string of games and not just play good one week. Go back to some of the issues we saw last season and earlier this season. So, yeah, I'll take the 3 from the NFC North. I'll take the Eagles and Commanders as my contenders right now.
Okay.
Wow,
Aaron, what do you got? Contenders in the NFC.
He's barren on the NFC West. Not even a shot with any of them. I mean, I don't necessarily blame you. I can't rule out the Niners are like literally a staple for the like. I know they're 4-4 right now. The Cardinals have no like. I don't care if they're 8-0. And like I would trust the 49ers more. I know the Cardinals are playing tough right now, 4-4, but I mean I just don't trust them down the stretch whatsoever until proven otherwise. There. So give me the Niners, unfortunately, but I just think they're still so well coached. Like I mean they had to win that Dallas 49ers game, like they had to win that to basically show if they have much of anything, but they pull that out. So give me the Niners. Kyle, I'm in lockstep with you with the Lions and the Packers. I'm not with you on the Vikings. I just think you're starting to see this implosion slowly but surely. It's going to happen. And then I mean from the NFC East, you have to count the Commanders right now, especially. I mean, yeah, to their credit, they're playing great. Like and the bounces never go their way, which was always satisfying to watch for me. But they very much are now. Like that Hail Mary was like, okay, if you believe in the football gods, maybe the football gods are with the Commanders right now. So just the luck that they're having, alongside how good Jane Daniels has been playing, like you gotta at least tip your cap there. And the Eagles, I mean, they're my team. I watch them, week in and week out. They scare me a little bit. I don't know what defense I'm getting. I don't know what Jalen Hurts I'm getting. That's my big thing. I've been 1 foot in, 1 foot out of Jalen Hurts since the Super Bowl. Like that, they come back the next, last season. They never really find it. I just don't know. I thought Kellen Moore was going to be the answer. I mean, Saquon Barkley is clearly the answer, but is that enough? I don't know against a really good team. I don't know, if you need Jalen Hurts to step up for you. I just don't know if he has it. So, yeah, I mean, I put the Eagles in there. I think other than that, I mean, yeah, there's really if we look NFC South, I don't think any of those teams have even the potential to go to the NFC Championship. I mean, I guess you could make a case Atlanta, but it's Kirk Cousins, so therefore I don't trust them. So I think the NFC North is the most solid, obviously by kind of a landslide. But could I see the Eagles or even like on a crazy year, the Commanders sneaking into like the NFC Championship or even the Niners? I definitely could.
I'm going to sigh of relief over here. It's 62-47. My Badgers pulled out in front here. All right, we're fine. We're fine over here. We're treading a little bit better. Like the water is a little bit clearer now. We're good. I agree with all your points there. I think the Commanders are the Packers from last season. I think they're a year away. I really do. I think they're a year away. I think the Packers are primed up. They're ready to rock and roll. I just think the Commanders are a year away yet. I'm not going to discredit. I'm going to think they're going to make the playoffs. They could win that division. I just, youth, some of that sometimes comes back to bite. I just think that they are a year away yet. I like the Eagles. I just, like you guys, like Kyle said there, I just want to see them do it for a stretch of games. I have to see it for a stretch of games. They put it together for a game, and then all of a sudden, next game out, they look like hot garbage. I want to see it for a stretch of games. People discredit that win against the Bengals. I think going into Cincinnati and picking up a win, that's massive. Getting your run game going, getting everything going like it was, that's a big win. And the secondary, they're young, right? We were talking about the secondary for the Eagles. They're young. They're developing. They're slowly coming along. It's slowly starting to look better. I think the Eagles will be a good team when it's all said and done. Now, I don't know if they have a good head coach, but I think they'll be a good team when it's all said and done. Shot at Sirianni there. Just had to do it. So I'm not saying that the Commanders, since I'm saying that they're the Packers from last season, that they're a year away. I'm not saying they can't sneak into the NFC Championship. They just might do it, right? It just depends on who gets hot, who gets the ball to go the right way, right? Look at that game against the Bears. They had that lucky bounce. Stevenson tipped it up in the air to them, right? I mean, you get something like that. So I'm not discrediting the Commanders at all. NFC North, I hate the Bears. I'm not going to put them in there. I just think they got so much wrong with them right now, just personnel wise, coach wise, that I just don't think Eberflus can get them over top of the hump. I think they have a lot of talent on that team. I think it's a good defense, but I saw it with Stevenson there and even on that last drive, right, where you're listening to Eberflus and he's like, the plays before that one didn't really matter. And then you listen to what's his name for the Commanders there, Quinn. When Quinn was talking about it, he's like, we're setting up this play and we're setting up this play. And you even watched that, was it Tony Romo that was on the call? And he was telling He was telling them where the routes should go, and that's exactly what they ran. And like he got the simple 10-yard whatever out there, got out of bounds, just the little things that led up to that drive. And Eberflus is like, well, that didn't matter. No, it did. It set up Jaden Daniels with a possible throw. Before that, it was an impossible throw for him to get it to the end zone. Now it was possible for him to get in the end zone. So there's a lot of plays that let up. So I just don't trust Eberflus as a coach. Like all around, just don't trust him. I just think the Bears will fizzle out. I like the other three teams. The Vikings are the interesting one for me because like you alluded to, Aaron, there, I just don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be enough. I think they have enough elsewhere. They have enough weapons. They have good enough offensive line. They have Aaron Jones in the backfield. They have a good defense. What's the missing piece? A quarterback, right? You give Kirk Cousins to this team, I guarantee you they're looking like I mean, your finest cheese right now. They're looking like Gouda cheese out here. Like they're looking fantastic. But Sam Darnold, I just don't trust him, right? I looked at that last drive. We talked about it the other day there with that face mask. I'm just not even sure if that face mask wasn't called or was called, whatever, and they got to play again. I looked at his first throw on that drive. It was like 15 feet short of the receiver. I don't know if he has the confidence to be in big games like that. Now, he might prove me wrong. I'm not saying that he couldn't have done it. Maybe he did. Maybe he would have, but we're never going to know. So I just don't know at the quarterback spot for the Vikings if they have enough to get over the top. Other than that, I love what I'm seeing with the Vikings. I think Brian Flores is great. I think they've done nothing but great there. O'Connell has been doing great for him there. I love what I love what I'm seeing in the coaching staff. Love what they're doing with the defense. It's just that quarterback spot that is iffy for me. The Lions are the best team. They might be the best team in the NFL. Like, I'm not going to lie. They might be the best team in the NFL. They lost the heart and soul of that defense in Aiden Hutchinson, and they just put up 52 points on the Titans. Like, the Titans aren't a good team, but putting up 52 points in an NFL game, that's impressive. So the Lions are a juggernaut right now. I mean, that team is loaded, and right now, you might even take them on the road in Kansas City to beat Patrick Mahomes. Like, that is how good this team is playing right now. So the Lions are fantastic. I like the Packers in there. I dislike the NFC South. I like the Buccaneers before Mike Evans and Godwin got hurt. Now I don't know what to think about the Buccaneers, though Baker Mayfield was lighting it up with second-string guys. So I don't even know what to think anymore there. The 49ers are still in it. McCaffrey will come back eventually. You can't count out the 49ers because they're the kryptonite of the Packers in the playoffs, so they got to be in there in some way, shape, or form. So, I mean, kind of all similar there with that NFC side of it there. AFC, what are we thinking there? Contenders in the AFC for that AFC championship. This one's a little bit more interesting because there's some interesting records in there, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they can actually do it or if they're just lightning in a bottle kind of team.
So AFC, look, Kansas City, they are the champs. I'm not going to deny them. I'm a big believer in Houston. I think with Stroud, I think Mixon is what that team is needed. I think Will Anderson's going to be a problem for a lot of people, and I still put Houston up there. Pittsburgh with Russell Wilson has impressed me. I think they are legit. If it was still Justin Fields, I was going to be a little iffy about it only because of Fields. I know his quarterback play can be kind of up and down, but this Russ right now looks a lot like Seattle Russ. You see him on the sideline, like he's very confident in his play. I think that is dangerous for Pittsburgh. His connection with George Pickens is going to be a problem for a team like Baltimore because their secondary stinks. I think their ability defensively to wreck offensive games is going to be a problem for teams like Buffalo and even pose issues for Kansas City. So I think Pittsburgh is a legit contender. I mean, you'd have to say Baltimore, even though I'm not sold on Baltimore come the playoffs because Lamar doesn't have a great record in the playoffs. His numbers aren't great. And I think until he gets past that mentally or actually proves he can do it on the field, I just feel like he'll find a way to come up short. The team that has me the most confused is Buffalo. Because Buffalo is 6-2. I don't love their wide receiver group. I like it a lot more now that they have Amari Cooper. But I just worry that in a tight situation in the playoffs, will they completely abandon the run and try to go with Josh Allen save us. I don't think that works in 2024. They need to rely on James Cook and have some balance if they're going to be effective. I think after that, there aren't any there's nobody else. I'm not buying into Denver at 5-3. I know it's a great story, but no. Colts, no. If the Bengals defense could, hold somebody of relevance under 40, I would like Cincinnati.
I got
just
Pee-wee
don't.
football teams that could run the ball on
I-
the Bengals
We
defense.
could, yeah.
Yeah.
We're clear.
Gonzaga would start a football team if they could face the Bengals. Like that's where we're at. Like I just I hate that they're wasting what Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and that offense can do. Like unless they score 40 a game, they're gonna have a hard time just making the playoffs. But if Joe Burrow makes the playoffs, they are legit to me because that's a guy who's not afraid going into Arrowhead and putting big numbers and getting a win. And if you can do that in Arrowhead, going to Baltimore won't scare you. Going to Orchard Park, even though that crowd's wild, but Burrow can win there too. So if you're an AFC team, hope the Bengals don't make it because they would be the most dangerous squad to face.
I like that. Aaron, what do we got? Contenders in the AFC.
I got to give you guys a 30-second World Series update. So there's a fly ball to Judge. Just routine fly, can of corn, drops it, which I've never seen him do ever. Then there's a ground ball to
momentum.
and then Volpe, Volpe going to his.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Ohtani at bat. I was about to punch you. I was like, dude, I'm watching it right now.
Well,
I must be behind.
I'm using these illegal streams until I get shut down. But Volpe boots a ball, like he's trying to throw it to third. He like throws it into the ground to Chisholm, and like that didn't work. But now there's like your guys are probably ahead of me, but goodness, if the Dodgers just can come out of this with a couple runs, that would be huge. Especially against
Ohtani's trying to make it 5-4, and he's coming up empty right now. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Shorten up and poke one. Just shorten up and poke one, man. Even a sac fly, I'll take. I mean, I won't love that, but do something.
Hit a 290 down the right field line, hit the foul pole. I don't care.
I mean, Garrett Cole just struck him out.
My left foot for that to happen, but
I don't know, brother. Ohtani goes down swinging. Cole's got 2 outs in the inning. It's still 5-0. He's a big game pitcher, Aaron. He's a big game pitcher.
It was looking promising there for a little bit, but I mean, I'm with you, Kyle, on the Bills. I mean, they're a team that, like you talk about, been there, done that, and not figured it out. It's hard to fully trust them, right? It's just hard to, like, they're playing great. I thought, losing Diggs, they'd fall back a little bit. I was kind of looking for Miami to kind of grab this division this year, but with Tua being, concussion in and out and everything else, like you can't expect that. So yes, they're still a good 6-2, but like you said, I don't know how much I would probably trust Baltimore in the playoffs more than the Bills. But like you said, their secondary does scare me too. So Pittsburgh is kind of like that. I mean, they're not being talked about as much as you would think kind of deal. I don't know if it's because like Russ Wilson is 35 and it's like, oh, what's he really got? But I mean, so far so good, right? Yeah, like I said, Baltimore with Henry is scary. It's just like, can they get it together? I don't know, against like the Chiefs type of deal. I mean, they're a playoff team. Baltimore and Pittsburgh you can like stamp it unless something crazy happens. I think both get in this year. Cincinnati, after watching the Eagles with their Jekyll and Hyde offense, where 1 week it looks great, 1 week it looks horrible, just kind of run rampant over them after pretty much everybody else has. I have no trust in their defense. Burrow, I almost don't think he's 100% right sometimes too. Like I watch him and I still think maybe his hand is bothering. He's still a hell of a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'd love that Burrow, but it's just like that team they feel like there's too many things broken with that team right now. And oh man, that was
you want to hear worse. You want to hear worse World Series update. Garrett Cole doesn't cover first base.
I love it.
Doesn't cover first base. If Freeman hits a tank right here and makes it 5-5, Garrett Cole just single-handedly lost this game.
Garrett Cole will throw a temper tantrum on the mound, and I'm loving it.
Yes.
Well, and Volpe looked like he wanted to cry when he made that air. Like he's holding his hat and he's like he's having a
Well,
breakdown out there.
Rizzo's like, dude, where are you? Like he goes to flip, and then all of a sudden he's like, there's nobody there.
Cole's just pointing to Cole's like telling him to like, and then Cole's mad at him.
Well, and if you're
oh my God, he's a spoiled brat, man. Cole is
like, if you're in that situation, let's just say Rizzo, it's routine, right? It's your routine for Rizzo just to get that ball, turn and flip. So if Rizzo flips that ball thinking Cole's on his way, nobody there, the ball gets by, that's another run. Like that's terrible. That is terrible on Garrett Cole. And if Freddie
that
Freeman
move
hits
could be the
another
beginning of the
home run,
unraveling.
Come on, please.
if Freeman hits another home run,
Freeman hit one to the wall in his last at bat. Like he's due
for one. He's due for one, right, boys? He's due for one. He hasn't hit one in a couple. Like
get these Wildcats going here for the Dodgers, but yeah. Other than that, right? I mean, you look at like a hit on the AFC North there with Pittsburgh and the Steelers. I mean, the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are like, they haven't played their best ball in my opinion, even offensively, and like Mahomes, but they're just winning. They're ripping off wins like it's going out of style, which that's what they do. Other than that, like the Texans obviously, like Kyle hit on. I don't think anybody else from that division even has a snowball's chance. So yeah, pretty much everybody Kyle hit on there, and yeah, I mean even like you said, Kyle, I think the Chargers could even finish above the Broncos before the end of the season. Bo Nix is playing well, but I mean, I trust Harbaugh to just rally that team too. So like both those teams are, one of them could slide in or something like that in a wild card situation, but neither of those teams are going to like go all the way. And then obviously the Jets outside chances after losing their last game is like, to your Patriots there, credit as much as I want to give credit to New England. Yeah, the Jets are cooked. Jets are put a fork in the Jets.
I like the Broncos defense, and I do like Bo Nix. I think they're a team that's a couple years away from being a competitive team. Like this is a pretty good, well put together Broncos team. They've done good revamping the roster, getting rid of the crap, Russell Wilson, and I mean I don't want to call him crap. He's doing good with Steelers right now, but it's just they've done good revamping it from the ground up. So I like what the Broncos are doing. I just don't see them as a contender. You have the Chiefs in there, of course. I mean, until somebody proves us wrong, the Chiefs are definitely a Super Bowl contender at this point. The Bills, I mean, I'm not as bullish on them. I like what I'm seeing out of Josh Allen just simply because he's doing it with, like you said, a wide receiver room where you're looking at it like, what are we looking at right now? Before Amari Cooper got there, it's like, who's actually in this room? So I love what he's been doing with that room. It actually speaks volumes to the quarterback that he is. Like, I kind of respect him more as a quarterback now because he doesn't have that. I know you guys are seeing Freeman get hits and it's a dicey game right
Cole's melting down.
I saw Aaron pump his fist. I looked over real quick. I was like, oh, the temper tantrum has started.
Did you see his body language before he threw that pitch? Even his body language was like, "I can't believe Rizzo didn't go to the bat." Like he's still here. And boom! Oh yeah, makes him pay up the middle. That was beautiful.
And I mean the Texans, of course, the Texans are in there. I love C.J. Stroud. That defense is solid. Yes. DeMeco Ryans has been nothing but a great head coach for him there. And this game is going to be tied after that one there. Yep, it's tied. The meltdown.
Yankee fans are losing their mind right now.
I did put in a $10 for 55 on the Dodgers when they were down 5-0, just cause. And like I money aside, I'd be happy about that. But if they win this game, just the demoralizing loss that the Yankees will experience is even better by far. Like they are, especially Cole, right? Like Cole is the biggest spoiled baby there is, and like for him to be going through this is like, oh my God. I mean, Judge too. Like they're it's bad times in the pinstripes there.
The team I would say, getting back to it, the teams that I would say not to count out, the Bengals, like you guys are talking about, Joe Burrow is still a great quarterback. The offense is slowly trying to find themselves. They've been waiting for T. Higgins to get back. They've been waiting for Jamar Chase to actually show up. Like that team is slowly working their way back. So I'm not out on the Bengals. Steelers, like you said with Russ Wilson, I thought that offense has looked better with Russell Wilson at the helm. I didn't know it would, but Russell Wilson has done nothing but good for him right now. It's nothing flashy. It's nothing crazy good, but he's been solid. So you like that there. Ravens, I mean, they're they could be a Super Bowl favorite. Like if Lamar Jackson can figure it out in the postseason and Derrick Henry keeps doing what Derrick Henry can do, like this is a Super Bowl team right here. Outside of that, I would, a team I'm not counting out yet because I want to see it first is the Dolphins, just because I think the offense has the ability to be a good offense just because they have weapons and they're just getting them back. So I'm not out on them yet. I got to see it yet. The Jets are completely gone. The Patriots are gone. The Browns are, I think, going to be gone at some point here. Tennessee's gone. Jacksonville's gone. I think the
We
Colts will
don't
fall
count
apart.
out the fighting Drake Mays, okay?
Drake May didn't even finish the last game. I'm counting him out.
That was
all
a
right?
late hit. The Jets are dirty.
Chargers, I'm not
No.
out on the Chargers. I think they could put something together late.
Herbert
and then
has
the
to be healthy.
Raiders are done.
Herbert needs to be
Yes.
healthy. He's
Herbert
like the
needs to be
walking wound in
healthy.
every game. Yes.
Yep. Nope, I agree. 100%. Right now, I look at both leagues or both conferences right now, and it's like, wow, like there is a lot of wide open pasture yet. There's a few teams in each, but it's wide open right now in both leagues to see what the heck's going to happen. So I can't wait to see how this one finishes. But we're at the end. We're at the end of the show here. We reached our hour 30. We're a little bit over. Son of a gun. I was trying. You guys were getting rambling off about the Yankees over there. I'm like, it's almost hour 30. We got to get the heck out of here. But hey, before we get out of here, Kyle, let everybody know where to find you out there.
Yeah, so you can find me on Integrity Sports Network or my channel, Chomping at the Bit. I'm trying to, put more videos out there, try and do some more lives and all that, but you can basically find me on either spot any day of the week. So would love some love from Trajan's community. But definitely you'll see me back on here very soon. Because I always love talking with you too.
We have nothing against the Fighting Mays. We have nothing against the Fighting Mays here in Wisconsin. Patriots do nothing to us at all, so we can't hate them there. But we do hate Philadelphia. But Aaron, where can they find you out there?
All right, that's all right. Well, we take the hate. No one likes us, That's what Kelsey said.
Maybe you got to be more approachable. Maybe that's why.
I can't though. You can't. That's just not a recipe. You know what I mean? The Midwest, they can be nice to people.
No. Midwest nice is Minnesota. That's Midwest nice. That's when they pass you, they flip you off. Like that's Midwest nice. We're just nice. That's Midwest.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Philadelphia will never be nice. That's just take it or leave it. You don't like it, leave it. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's yeah. I mean, obviously, Brutally Honest Sports on all the platforms. It was awesome catching up with Kyle. Thursday nights are just an absolute chaotic mess for me. So unfortunately, I can't join you guys on your show there. What is it? Sports? Plug that show. Sports
Banter.
Sports Banter. It was, formerly Bases Loaded Podcast, right? So that's in my mind, it's ingrained. But yeah, anyways, Brutally Honest Sports on all the platforms. I'm trying to get more active on the TikTok side of things and just kind of give my little opinions here and there as well. So yeah, anywhere you can find a podcast platform.
Yeah, if anybody out there actually cares about Penn State or the Eagles or anything like that, that's
millions. The millions we're talking about.
Millions of people who care about Philadelphia Eagles and the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Fighting James Franklins out there.
Oh God, don't say that. That's graceful.
Aaron told me that when Penn State finally makes the college football playoff, he's going to shave his head so he looks like James Franklin. Here, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal to end it. Because you hate James Franklin so much, if James Franklin leads your Nittany Lions to, let's say, the second round of the college, let's go semifinals, Final Four. He's in the Final Four of the college football playoff. You got to shave your head to match James Franklin. You got to do it. You got to do it for the show.
See, I as crazy as like Final Four doesn't. Like
fine. National championship. If he goes to the national championship.
I mean, if you want me to dye half my head like white and half my head blue, I'll do that. Pretty much whatever you want me to do. If we make the national championship, I'll pull out all the stops because
all right, fine. Semifinals.
If they win the national championship, you go bald.
Yeah, you go bald. 100%. They win it, you go bald. If they make it to the semifinal, we go blue and we go white.
Yeah. That's like. As cool as seeing the Eagles win the Super Bowl, like that's always been my Penn State win the national. That's like no
I am
other word, but
crying.
like
I
a
am
wet
with it
dream.
now. The
That-
Badgers
that-
are out. I don't even care. The Badgers are out. I don't even care. Like I am cheering. I am cheering for Penn State to go to the Final Four first, so that way I get the blue and white, and then the national championship.
And after like I get all the the shots on this show, reverse shots, and that I respect it because you can't root for Ohio State, right? You can't. That's at least Penn State's not been there, done. They never do that.
No.
But yeah,
They just got their own issues. They got their own issues.
Exactly. We'll be lucky to beat Ohio. Like we'll be lucky if everything has to align. So I will, like I said, shave the head, dye the hair, shave my eyebrows, whatever you want me to do.
You don't gotta shave your eyebrows, dude. Like
you
to still we want your mother to look at you and say like this is still a decent looking.
She still kind of loves me, right? No.
She'll walk in, shaved eyebrows, shaved head. She'll be like, "Where were you?" Like,
I'll say it was worth the cause. It's all for the cause.
We won the title, Mom.
She'll be like, "What sport?" But it's fine. It's all good.
College soccer. All right, boys. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here for the night. We got some Yankees Dodgers to watch here. So with that, for Kyle, Aaron, and myself, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night and tomorrow. But until we talk to you guys on Friday, see ya.